you might see a familiar face in the studio today. Joining me is Taylor and Catherine Carter-Sledge because they are joining forces with Ben and Erin Napier for the Old School Parents Raising Engaged Youth, which I think is great, and it's all about social media and just setting better boundaries and standards for our kids, which I think is a good thing. So, welcome.
Thank you. How you doing?
I'm not complaining. How you doing, Taylor? It's been a minute.
I'm really happy. I feel like we're getting the band back together.
I know, right? And so, not, I guess, lead singer this time. You and sort of swap back and forth with that, but you've been staying busy.
Oh, absolutely. We're busy raising children and growing our businesses and doing all the things we do. I got to say hey to Rhino. How you doing, man? Great to see you. It's been too long.
It's been too long. But I love seeing your name as well as your wife's when this sort of came across my news feed of something that was happening, because I thought, you know, for two people who have such a sort of public persona or have jobs that sort of out in that way, to take a stance on this, to sort of say, hey, parents, you can do this too, I think is such a good thing. And then partner with maybe the most popular couple in Mississippi at the moment, Ben and Erin Napier, is even a better thing, to sort of give parents resources as well as sort of, you know, a community of support, which I think that we can do better with our kids when it comes to social media. So how did this come about? Old School Parents Raising Engaged Youth. How do you say it? What is it? Osprey is sort of the stage for it?
Well, actually, hold on now.
Wait a minute.
After you.
I would say that this is a heated debate because I say Osprey.
Oh.
But I say Osprey.
But hold on.
Because I'm from Mississippi.
We were talking to our fearless leader, Secretary of State Michael Watson, recently, and he is from the land of the Ospreys, which is this is a coastal fish eagle is what it is. And he says it's Osprey.
Gotcha.
And so I think that should matter. But anyway, I think it's Osprey.
We have agreed to disagree.
Yeah. I agree. I would say Osprey, but that's, tomato. But either way, it stands for something good.
Yes.
How did you guys find yourself creating a nonprofit along with all the other things you guys are into? Sure.
So Taylor and I became good friends with Erin and Ben Napier, who, as you mentioned, are sort of the darlings of Mississippi right now. Yeah. They're such wonderful people. And if you've ever watched their show on HGTV, Hometown, or a couple, they've got 2 or 3 of them now. They're just as they seem on television. They're wonderful people who are grounded and kind and authentic. We just want to do great things for our state and for the people and communities around them. So anyway, we've so enjoyed our friendship with them, and we've over the years had many different discussions about raising children and all kinds of different things, and we align really closely in our beliefs about that. And as we talked about this particular issue about delaying social media for kids really until high school graduation, we all agreed about that. And Erin and Ben had also kind of formed a group of friends within their local community in Laurel who were all on the same page about that. And as we talked more about it, one day Erin just reached out to me and she said, hey, I've got this platform right now, and who knows how long, it'll be there. But right now, we want to do as much good in the world as we can. And you're good at logistics. I can be the face of this thing. And she's so incredibly creative. She's, can do all of those kinds of things. So she said, would you help me with this? And let's do it. And I said, all right, let's do it. So the 4 of us founded Osprey. And anyway, we're really excited about it. We hope to do some good in the world.
Well, what is the hope? I mean, what is the hope, the mission of it?
Yes. So the mission is helping parents link arms to help our kids achieve a social media free childhood through adolescence and really until high school graduation.
Which is so important. Go ahead, Taylor.
Well, I was going to say, one of the byproducts that I think is extremely powerful is the creation of social boundaries on behalf of the child. And what I mean by that is, when I was in high school or junior high, the social conversation ended when you left school and went home.
Amen.
And now it is 24/7, 365. And if a child in their household, if you decided this is how we're going to be in our household, you're sending your child into an environment to be ostracized because all of their friends are doing something different, and they have to spend time going through the traumatic effect of feeling left out. And if we can create an environment where households at a school, so it's this kind of school-specific households, can link arms and say, hey, we're going to have broad swaths of people in this school that all have this same simple ideology and theory about social media. Now, a child can have a normal social existence where they're not feeling left out of the hilarious Instagram DM joke or whatever of the day. They can live a normal or relatively normal, I don't know what you call normal, but they can live a social existence that does not require 24/7 data interaction on the internet.
And the peer pressure from the friends and then the kids to the parents is real. And I know if you are those old school parents, you may roll your eyes, especially now if you're grandparents, thinking about how that is. But I have had friends, won't throw you under the bus, who have cracked and went ahead and got phones or allowed social media, and they thought they were going to be able to police those the better than they ended up doing, because the kid came home and was the only one who didn't have it, or the only one who wasn't able to do this, or the only one who wasn't able to do that, and regret it. And then it's like once you let the cat out of the bag, it's really hard to sort of put that back in. But there is a growing number of parents who just simply want to hear from another parent, like, we're not doing that either, so you feel like you are not alone. Because we have, as a family, prior to this, we have made the decision our kids will not have social media until after, well, at least not right now. She's still in elementary school, so yes. So and it's nice to know that other parents have set those firm boundaries.
Yes, and I'd like to add too, we realize that some of those things, feeling left out and all those different social growth experiences that you have, some of those are very normal to a certain level. That's part of growing up. That's part of learning how to be a resilient human being. But what social media has done, or social media access at those young ages, is blown that up to these astronomical proportions that puts all of this emotional weight and junk that these kids have to deal with before they're ready. Their frontal lobe is not developed until they're almost 25 years old. That's how the development of a human goes from a medical perspective.
I'd like to add in that social media group chats. Because group text, because my daughter uses my phone to communicate with friends, so I can literally see everything. I've gotten put into 10-year-old group chats. 10-year-olds do not need
It's a scary place to be.
Group chats. Like, think about your group text that you're in and you hate and roll your eyes. And, I let them know often, hey, this is Neely's mom's phone. Just letting you know, policing it. Gonna tell your mom. Because the way that kids interact via social media or through digitally is just way different than if they were all sitting around, the 10 of them around a table and having a conversation.
And that's not a lot different from adults either. If you ever
absolutely.
read Facebook comments and all kinds of things.
People be acting the fool.
And, you're giving them a rope to hang themselves.
Well, I'll say this also, and this is important because we can talk about social media the way that we talk about cigarettes. It's possible for us to do that. But this is not the same thing. And what I mean by that is technology is a valuable tool. It's a leverage created by human beings to optimize our world. And we are not an anti-technology or an anti-social media program of any kind. As a matter of fact, social media is a critical part of my career, and more importantly, even bigger, it's a critical part of Ben and Aaron's career. And there is no abandonment of that, and there's nobody saying that that's not, frankly, good in a lot of ways. And, we rekindled our relationship because of social media. I mean,
you
us,
and the Napiers.
us and the Napiers. Yeah, not me and my wife. My wife and I don't DM each other to deal with our stuff. But
whatever works.
But what I'm saying is, like, that reconnected us, and so we're not saying that at all. What we're saying is it wasn't designed for children.
Yeah.
That's all we're saying.
It's a timing issue.
And our biggest supporter involved with this is C-Spire. And we've got Hugh and Ashley Mina are directly involved in the creation and being involved with this organization that we have now, this nonprofit, Osprey Kids. And what they're doing, I think, is an amazing thing to mention, which is they're basically saying, why don't we use our massive, powerful resources to create a safe venue for kids where they can still use the data, use the phone, like you said, call on the watch.
Because parents do need to get in touch with their kids.
Sure.
And there's just not good options out there now.
We do live in a different time. The connectivity is important, but you can do that with that while protecting.
You don't want your kids to have access to the internet version of 3 a.m. on Bourbon Street.
Correct.
Right? And that's what we're talking about doing.
That is what we're talking. We're going to keep talking about with the Sledges. Osprey. You get to decide. Stick with us. We got more for you. Good things. You'll see Ab Taylor and Catherine Carter Sledge in the house are talking about their new nonprofit in partnership with Ben and Aaron Napier. You guys know them, as well as C-Spire. Osprey. I did it for you. We're going to go back and forth. But old school parents parents raising engaged youth. The engaged part is important. But Catherine, I want to get to how it works. So I think we all agree that children in elementary school and maybe even middle school should not have social media accounts. I don't want to hear any arguments against that, to be honest. So how does this work? How is your organization helping parents link arms?
Yeah. So if right now, if you'll pull up Osprey Kids or ospreykids.com, you can download our manual, and it gives you'll get a guidebook in your email inbox that helps people to begin the process. And really, it's very simple. We're not some big organization that's kind of handling things from the top down. This is very grassroots. So what we do is we stay in communication with parents and encourage them to form groups within their own communities, whether that's at their school or at their church or in their homeschool group, and find, 3 parents that align with your views on this and start chatting with them, and go have coffee, sit down and say, okay, how can we kind of create some strategies to help our kids through this next phase, whatever that might be for your child. And it's going to be different depending on, your child may be 2 and you're deciding this, or they may be 10. But form that community and then go and find another community helper, I'll call it. That's what our preschoolers, they have community helper day at school lots of times, but go and find a community helper, whether that's your administrator at your school or wherever, who can help provide a place maybe for parents to meet, and then let your organization grow. Start talking about what you can do to help your kids as they get through each of those sticky situations, whether that first friend gets a phone or whatever it is, and just form a community where you can all be on the same page.
And have that support. Taylor, I know also a part of this is events, getting out in the community to help sort of raise awareness, start the conversation. You guys have one coming up soon, I know, in Oxford. Tell us about that.
Yes, so on August the 1st at the Ford Center, 7 p.m., Oxford, Mississippi, we are doing a live speaking engagement with the Napiers, led by the Napiers. It'll be Catherine and I, Ben and Aaron Napier, Hugh Mina, the CEO of C-Spire, who's a great speaker. And then we'll also have a child psychiatrist who's going to speak on some of the nuts and bolts of social media.
Adriana Stacy.
Dr. Adriana Stacy. And also, we're going to have a cybersecurity leader, David Polson, from the Secret Service. And so we're going to kind of do like a panelist sort of in the round kind of discussion. And Catherine and I are going to moderate. And really, it's a couple things. We want everybody to feel connected with the origin of this. So please come if you can. It's $5, and that's really
why so expensive.
Yeah, right. It's really just to cover the cost of us using the Ford Center, which is a really nice facility if you've ever been there.
And there are a few tickets left.
Yes.
Not a lot, but
will y'all take this kind of on the road, do you think, or as you can?
We've discussed that. The thing is, for now, we're really just trying to get it set up. We will definitely continue these discussions, and I think that we'll end up with a focus like that. But for now, we're really just saying, how do we launch it, and how do we create community? Which is ironic, because the reason that social media is so powerful is because of the rapid creation of community in the sense that gives people. But now we have created this strange gap where we're connected to people, but we're not. And the increase in internet connection is a decrease in the personal connection. And so what we want to do is we want to retread the idea of having eyeball to eyeball community,
yes,
which is super powerful.
And that's really, what Osprey is about. It's not necessarily what we're protecting kids from. It's really more what we're calling them to,
which is the engaged youth part.
Yes, like let's go back or go on into the future again to that connectivity, empowering them to be able to have the real skills that they need in the world, not only to be happy, healthy humans, but to be successful in their life and endeavors, whatever they choose to do. Get them outside, put the social media down, and go actually look in the eyeball of another person and talk.
I think parents also need help. And I guess today's parents, if you didn't grow up like in that old school era or parenting in the old school era, because we are not parenting in the same world that our parents did. And I will say some parents are going to need encouragement. Oh, well, what the heck do I do with them if I take away their devices? Because you do see some of the funnier memes and things, which is the irony in it. Do I want to take away my kid? Who's punished more when I take away my kid's devices? Is it the kid or the parent, right? Because parents have also started to use those as babysitters in a sense or such. So there is a retraining of the parent on
yes,
what to do with your children or how to encourage them to be engaged in other things.
Yes, and I think having that, having the long-term view as a parent of not, and it's hard, but not in that moment. Sometimes you do just, oh my gosh, I got to have a brain break for a second. But, thinking, what's going to be best long-term for this child, for me, for our family, and that connectivity, and kind of back to the analog and less of the digital, and spending that time. Get outside, read a book, play a game, those kinds of things.
It comes naturally. And when kids are pushed, once you get past that, like that grumpy moment, they figure it out.
Yes.
Absolutely. One thing that, we really want to sort of focus on is, like you just said, accepting what we've come to as what we're willing to do with our kids, what we're willing to allow them to do. And over time, we've just decided that this is normal, then this is normal, then this is normal, then this is normal. And there are some of those norms that it's better for us to not accept because they're not healthy. And I think it's an amazing opportunity to see what your child maybe could do without that version anymore.
Think about if your child is spending 4 hours a day on, which adults easily spend, scrolling on Snapchat or TikTok. What if they spent that 4 hours a day working on their basketball skills, or cultivating their ballet, or drawing, or painting, or reading, whatever it is? Think about, and that's what Osprey is really about. What could they gain? What can they gain if they don't spend this time doing this over here? Because that time is precious and it means something. And all those hours over all those days and months and years add up to something.
Yeah, and I take it as a challenge, too, for parents who feel a little convicted. It's like you're going to have to model this behavior also, because that's the convicting part. But I think we are reaching a tide that's turning where people are recognizing this is such a time a thief as well as a joy thief, because I feel like some parents give into it, and I've seen this with my friends, because it brought them so much joy. They were so excited to get their first, whatever account. They liked the funny filters and the faces. And so it came from a good place.
Right.
But then the dark side of it creeps in. And if they're just not ready for it, they're just not ready for it. And then you can't undo certain situations. You can stop it and you can mitigate the bleeding. But once things have been seen, once things have been shared and said, you can't take that back. And
that's right. And we also, Osprey is also not sitting here in judgment of those who've made different decisions. We just want to say, hey, there is another way. Come join us. We want you here.
Yeah, we're just offering you a venue to make a decision, a safe space to do so, where you don't feel like you're ostracized or weird or something. And the other thing is this. Our event is August 1st. August is 20 years to the month that Eduardo Saverin and Mark Zuckerberg wrote the algorithm on the window at Kirkland. And that has given, I'm 38 years old, and I'm to use Ben and Aaron's term, an elder millennial. Is that right? Or grand millennial? Grand millennial. The point is, we've had just enough time to finish college, start a family, get married, freak out about growing a business. How are we going to pay all these bills? And then all of a sudden you look up and you're a parent and you have an 11-year-old. Yeah. And that 2 decades, and we're sitting looking at 2 decades of Facebook this semester, right? Because we started into college. And it's given us just enough time to reach this point of concern.
So I'll be 40. That means half my life has been spent on Facebook.
Weird.
Yeah. Or with a Facebook account.
And in that time,
not on Facebook.
Maybe it feels like it.
That's weird.
Within those 20 years, the mental health statistics for youth and adolescents and even young adults too have just plummeted. Emotional issues and depression and suicide and all of the things. And I'm not saying all of that is 100% related to this, but I do think it's correlated. It's connected. Yeah,
absolutely. How do we get in touch? How do we get connected? How do we sign up? How do we do it?
Yeah, ospreykids.com.
Spell it.
OSPREY. Old School Parents Raising Engaged Youth. ospreykids.com. Come visit us, click join, sign up. We won't spam you with anything. You'll just get a manual that tells you what to do.
I was on y'all's website earlier. I appreciated the resource tab and showing how those that create these devices and those that run these companies that are the social media accounts, they don't let their kids do it. And
Right.
they send them to places that are tech-free and low device because they recognize that's what got the brains that created it all. And so the resource page to me was just also very interesting of the science behind why you guys are so passionate about it.
Yes.
Not just the fear, behind what could happen. The science is showing it's not the best.
Also,
Right.
you can
Check it
use the
out.
website to buy the tickets for the event.
Okay.
That's where you buy them. We want you there. Come and see us on August the 1st and see Ben and Aaron speak live. They want you there. We want you there. Please come. $5. Would love to have you.
All righty. Well, thank you guys for your time and what you guys are doing. I think it's such a good thing. I think this is first of many conversations about it, about Osprey and Osprey. But stick with us. It's Friday. We got Tanya with movie reviews coming up next.